hello everyone. Welcome to the youth debate session. My name's Aaron. I'll be the moderator for this event today. And yeah, I'm pretty excited to see how this will go. The topic is, does social media impede or improve communication? So how exactly does social media affect communication like between different people? And is it a blessing to have social media? Does it improve communication due to its length or how widespread it is? Or does it stop communication because it takes away from person-to-person contact? So everyone on my right is going to be representing that social media improves communication, and everyone on my left is saying that it does not improve communication and it actually impedes communication. So we're going to start off with introductions. I already said who I am, but if you guys just want to say, who you are, your name, what grade you're in, and your favorite hobbies and stuff.
Hello everybody, my name is Gordon Nair. I'm in 7th grade.
I'm Cookie Shaker and I'm in 10th grade. I'm Mehreen Kaur and I'm also in 10th grade.
Okay.
I'm Anuva and I also am in 10th grade.
I'm Sanjana Kilot and I'm also a sophomore.
I'm Raina Robinson. I guess I'm the odd one out. I'm a 9th grader.
Oh, okay. Alright.
Alright, yeah, let's give a round of applause to all the participants. Okay. So, we're going to go alternating from pro to con. Alright, Barry, you want to start? Yeah, okay. So, I'm going to give you what's going to happen. So, I'm going to set you a time for 3.5 minutes. At around a minute mark, I'm going to bang it once. Okay? So that's so you know that you only have a minute left. And then when I bang twice, then you have 10 seconds left. So you should probably start.
So I can just share my first point, right?
Yeah, share whatever you want to. You're gonna have, I was gonna, we're gonna have alternating pro and con, and then there's gonna be a Q&A session. We're gonna ask you questions.
Aaron, can you talk on the mic?
Oh yeah.
So there's going to be a alternating pro and con, and then right after you finish speaking, we're going to have a Q&A session from the opposite side just to ask you questions. And if you have any rebuttal to a point previously mentioned from the opposite side, then you can ask them a question during their Q&A session. So that's how the debate portion is going to work. So I'm going to go start the timer for around 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Again, I'm going to tap once when you have a minute left. I'm going to tap twice when you only have 10 seconds left. Okay, just to let you know. All right, awesome. You can stand up, you can take this mic, and whenever you're ready, you can start. I'll start timing you, okay? Awesome. All right, on your first word.
So I think that social media will help people be able to communicate better. And my main reason would be, so I'm going to set this, okay, let's say we're in the 1980s. If I were to tell my friend something, how would I be able to tell them? Would I have to go to their house, or would I have to send them a letter? And as you know, both of these options might take a long time. In today's society, we have access to social media such as TikTok or WhatsApp, and we can message people in the blink of an eye. So if I send something to my friends right now, they'll see immediately and they can respond. So it's much easier to communicate, and because of how accessible it is to us, whether you're a senior or you're my age, you can easily communicate, and as you communicate more, obviously your communication skills improve.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
All right, so now we'll start the Q&A session. So from anybody on the con side can first ask questions. If you can also just get up too, while this is, yeah. Sorry to mention, so until after the Q&A session finishes, then you can sit down, but until then you can stand up. Okay, so does anybody from this side have any questions? Okay.
So you said by texting a lot or using our social media, it helps with communication, but how does that really help with communication if we never get face-to-face interaction with them?
So if you're able to talk to people on a daily basis and a lot through social media, I'm sure you're strengthening your relationship. So as your relationship gets stronger, I'm sure you want to expand more. So if I talk to my friends online, as I appreciate them more, if I'm doing a birthday party, for example, I can invite them over. So our relationships gradually get stronger to a point where we be comfortable enough to physically meet, and our relationships will obviously get stronger from there.
Okay, thank you.
Good question and good answer. Does anybody else? You two have any questions? Yeah.
You said that you can meet someone online and then eventually become friends and become closer. But what do you feel about the dangers of doing that? Meeting someone online versus in person, isn't there some sort of danger in that because you don't really know who this person is?
Alright, so oftentimes I don't support really making new friends online, but I support, if you're being able to like talk to your current friends online, you'll be able to obviously be able to strengthen relationships. But if you do meet someone online, there's obviously, there are things that are too good to be true. If there's a person that 100% matches your standards, you might be able to tell if there's something a bit, wrong. So you might want to like be able to 100% verify that this person is who they are and they're not catfishing or anything like that.
All right, Raina, do you have any questions? Or? Okay.
You mentioned how social media does help communication, but what you didn't mention was the fear of missing out. That has been a situation that social media has created for many students and even young adults. So how is FOMO being addressed in your case?
So I think for the first question, I said that, as you talk to more people online, your relationship gets obviously bigger. So if you're strong enough of a friend to a person, I'm sure the fear of missing out is not that big if they constantly, if they invite you to come over to their house or if you do certain things with them. So I guess that really depends on how well of a friend you are with this person.
Okay, cool. Now for the last question, does anybody in the audience want to ask our participant any questions about any of his points? The floor is open. No? All right, that's okay. Good job.
Round of applause.
Just generally too, this is for the rest of the participants. Anytime you've been asked a question, make sure you talk to the person that asked it, but also talk to the general audience too. So they can also have face-to-face contact. Okay. So now we'll have a person from the con side. We can start off with Raina, and we'll just work our way into this. All right? Yeah.
Social media. This has forced people to communicate with others and helped everyone across the globe. You may be talking to one of your aunties or grandmas or relatives in India right now, and that's because of social media. But what you don't realize is that social media has caused many disadvantages for people and young adults in our society. Adolescents like me and everyone up here on stage or on this platform have definitely faced at least one friend who has felt isolated, lonely, or even depressed because of being on social media way too much. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, you see these often, and you definitely have at least one of these apps on your phone right now. But what you don't realize is that Facebook, especially, has been seen and has whistleblowers already exposing them. They have their own research and information showing that Facebook and other social media platforms are damaging and harmful to your brain and to the people surrounding you. If you can't interact with someone face to face, say you're in an interview and you're talking to the interviewer, they don't want to be letting you into their job if you're not good at communicating with them or with their clients. What they want is for you to be good at contacting people, good both online and in person, especially in person. I'm feeling a connection between all of you because I'm standing in front of you. I'm not on a screen, being a mile away or even across the globe. I want to connect with you people just the way you are with me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now the floor will be open to questions. We'll first start off on this side, if any of you have a question. Okay.
So it's not really a question per se, but with our new technology, if you're talking about adolescents using social media, we have screen time limits that parents can set when they give their children devices. And you can set limits on what apps they use or how long they use an app for. So how does your point really affect kids if we have this type of technology that's readily available for use?
Screen time limits. Yes, I have it on my phone and I set it myself. My parents didn't do that for me. If kids do follow these limits and these restrictions on their apps, then that's fine. But what you don't realize is that you're not listening to the app notification that pops up. You're not saying, oh, I'm in the middle of this TikTok video, but I'm gonna pause because I saw that I've been on this for more than 3 hours straight. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna probably finish that video and then continue on through the feeds. What you don't want is for kids to be on their phones constantly and on their computers. We're already on them enough during school time and other times, even when talking to friends. So with screen time limits, yes, they could be beneficial for small periods of time, but soon you'll realize that they're not beneficial in stopping social media's wide outreach.
A round of applause for both of them.
Okay, so now we'll go back to the pro side, and we can have just one of you speak. And remember, since you already heard the opinions from the con side, it'll look good if you just address some of the points that they made in your original speech too. Okay? So which one of you? Let's go first. Awesome.
Alright, so communication has a lot of different definitions. I think right now we're talking about communicating with one another, but communication can also be through like news that's going around the world, news things that everyone should be notified about, and especially since everyone is all about the youth and young people have to have a word and a say in what's going on around the world. It's more especially important for them to be open into an environment that gives them all these resources and gives them all these real and accurate news forms for them to make accurate opinions for themselves. So I feel like social media is going to be a great way for it to spread all these things around the world, around people's minds, and then, making all these opinions up. And I'll bring in an example. I'm sure, I don't know how many of you, but have gotten news about this kid in Texas that was assaulted because of, I'm not sure what, I haven't looked much into it, but if there was no social media, if there was no video recording, if there's no communication from this happening all the way in Texas, people in New Jersey would have never known about it. People in New Jersey would never have had any reason to worry about things like this. And since we are all Indian, it really connects to us a lot because this is one of us. These are someone in our community that's getting assaulted or hurt in whatever shape or form. So to that end, I think social media can greatly contribute to communication.
Awesome, very well said. Okay, so now the floor is open to questions, starting with the con side, if any of you have a question. Okay, Sandra.
So you said that we can use social media for news and teaching or spreading out information to other people. Well, from my own personal experience, for example, using Instagram, people will take posts that give people information and just repost it on their story. But that's where it ends. No one is talking further about that. So what do you have to say about that?
I guess that's just how much people can go about doing something if one is not that invested in an issue or a problem that's happening, but they want to contribute as much as they can. Educating people is not the most, I can agree with that, but it's something. I feel like at least doing one part on your end to just repost something that has information to let people know or something, it'll greatly impact it in one way or another.
Great. You want to have a question? Awesome.
So you say using social media to communicate news helps people, but I've heard a lot of fake news on social media, and how do we prevent that? How is using news beneficial if we're spreading false information along the way?
That's a really good point, and I think that everyone should be, I think everyone should know how to perceive news and how to analyze it when it comes to them. So say a post that has a few likes compared to a post that has thousands is being reposted. You can kind of tell that, maybe this is not the most true or the most accurate of information given to me. So I think that it's just the fact of how one perceives news or how one analyzes it when it comes to them. But it's still a factor of news is being sent out through social media only, or news is being sent out, in these forms.
Very well said. Does anybody else have any questions from this side? Are we good? Okay. The floor is always open to the audience. Does anybody has any questions for our speaker? Okay. Seeing that there's none, very well done. Let's have a round of applause. Okay, so now we'll go on to the con side. I believe we have two more. Yes. So which one of you would like to go first? Okay, great.
So I think about the last 2 years we've been in COVID. A lot of our classes have been through Zoom class. And I'm pretty sure, as a student myself and a few of my friends, that we realized that it's very boring. We can't interact with our students. Half of the time our cameras are off, we're muted, we barely talk. Some of us are even falling asleep for that matter. But that's why I'm telling you that when you communicate in person, you feel that real bond, you feel that real energy to actually learn, to do stuff. Same thing with social media and communication. If I want to talk to you, I'll easily get bored talking to you on social media, and I would think, oh, that person is like boring or whatever, and I don't want to interact. But when I'm with you, I'll feel a connection with you, and I want to keep talking to you. And that's how being in person and communicating is more important than I think than being on social media, because you get to learn a real person and how they really affect you in your life. You've been missing out on a really important person just because of social media, because you haven't really met their true self. Same reason when we teach online in Zoom class, we don't realize we miss half the lessons because we're not interested, because we're not communicating properly. And that's why I think social media and the internet doesn't always do a good job on helping our communication skills.
Very well said. The floor is now open to questions. So, which one of you has? Okay, here we go.
I can start. You bring up a really good point of COVID and everything, and that has obviously impacted many of our lives. But then, to what extent would you say schools should, to what extent do we use communication in that form then? I think that the circumstances that we were in were very drastic and were very, surprising to all of us that, we would have never thought a global pandemic would have happened at all. So what would you have suggested schools to do other than communication through Zoom or Google Classroom and stuff?
I think they did what they had to do because we had no other option, obviously. But I think in that time period that we learned a lot about communication and how really being with this teacher, being with our students and our peers helps us learn rather than being online by ourselves, isolated. So I understand we did what we did, which was a good thing. But I think that that we did what we did, but we learned a lot from it and how it can negatively impact us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, does the audience have any questions? Alright, seeing that there's none, I believe we're on to our last pro speech. And so.
You want to get these?
Okay.
Sure, yeah.
No, it's okay. Okay, no worries. So, my bad. Okay. So, throughout our years in life, we make new friends, we leave, some friends, people come and go in everyone's lives. And, especially through the world of business and networking and meeting new people, such as today, I met a lot of new people, I met a lot of new friends over here as well. And so I think that at the end of the day, if one shares each other's numbers or a Instagram handle or a TikTok account, we can still keep a personal connection with one another because we're in a part of someone's lives in maybe a small way, but we're still in a part of someone's lives and looking into, how are they doing, this and that. And it might not be the most personal connection, but it will be a connection in form of how we're just still in someone's life. And so I think that social media can really greatly help connections through that matter.
Yeah, very well said. Let's have a round of applause. Okay, so now we'll have questions open again. And the point of the debate too is also to expand on different points and kind of transition between different topics. So if there's something that she specifically said that is a new point, or you have some new topic to start, that would be one of the better questions asked. So with that being said.
You mentioned entering someone else's life. So when entering someone's life, it's probably seen by other people that in person is better than virtually and online. So when you said that online the people would want to connect with you, do they really know who you are and where you're from or what your real age is?
I'm gonna use an example from my personal life to kind of answer this. I have a friend who was from school, but he moved to Boston a couple years ago. And I still am in contact with him. Maybe I don't talk to him every single day, but maybe once or twice a month, we do connect and we do catch each other up and everything. And I think it's really nice. He's a really good friend of mine too. So it's not like the connection has been lost because of such a great distance that we're in. So I don't think that, I think in some cases, of course, I think as he also mentioned, it's important to realize who you're talking with, and it's important to realize, you know, how accurate this person is in cases of meeting new people. But people who have to leave your, like, not leave, but exit your life in a physical form, it's important that, you know, you can also, you know, it's nice that we can have that communication still there, because if I didn't have my friend's number, I would have never, you know, kept contact with them, because it's not like I go to Boston every other weekend. So I think that it really like does help with connecting and making friends further. Thank you.
Okay, so now we'll move on to our last con speech before we enter our group debate phase, which is going to be very exciting. So, last con speech.
How many times have you been in a group of people that you don't know? And what are the chances that you actually talk to them other than go on your phone and scroll mindlessly on TikTok, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, Snapchat? If you're like me, and you can admit your unnecessary addiction to social media, then you can say that you would probably spend most of the time on your phone rather than talking to these people. And I get it, I do, because it's hard. It's hard to meet new people and talk to them and connect with someone that you've never met before. But what makes it even harder is social media, because it provides you an option. It provides you a way out, doesn't it? If I were in a room with someone that I didn't even know and I had my phone with me and I had TikTok on it, I would probably go to that instead of talking to this person. But if that was not an option, if that was out of the way, I would talk to this person and have a conversation with them. So I guess in that sense you can say social media does impede communication because it provides you an option. And oftentimes you need to be forced into doing something. And you need to be forced into growing so that you can form better relationships and become a better networker and communicative individual in general. Thank you.
All right, guys. Okay, so we're going to have questions from the pro side. Which one of you wants to ask the first one?
You talk about the entire negative side of having social media with you when you're in a new setting, a new place. But don't you think that you can also use the social media to your advantage when making new friends, especially of our age group?
Yes, obviously if I met someone new, I could be like, oh, do you want to make a TikTok? Do you want to do this, this, and this? But I feel like that's also a superficial way of communicating. Why would I, make a 30-second dance video with you rather than actually getting to know you and your interests and what you like to do as a person? In doing things that are surrounding on social media, it's a very superficial basis. You never actually get to know a person, in my opinion.
Very well said.
Now, the floor is still open to you two if you still have any questions. Guys, say it could be anything that they said, like in this speech or any of previous speeches. You want to try asking one? Okay, that's cool. Awesome. So now we have just concluded the individual debate stage. So we've heard everyone's individual speeches, but one part of the debate is also to test how well they could cooperate within a group and how well they could combine their points and combine their ideas to make a solid stance with their topic. So with the con side on my left and the pro side on my right, what we're going to break into is group debate phase. And how it's going to go, it's going to be a series of rebuttal speeches from each side, which all three people collaborating, combining their points and ideas, and then one person is going to be the spokesperson, as in the person that's going to synthesize all the side ideas and then say it as a rebuttal towards the audience and towards the fellow members. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a, let's say, 8-minute timer for you guys to get together and talk about what the opposing side said and what you want to say as a rebuttal. And then after the 8 minutes, both sides can get up, send a spokesperson to make the speech for their side. And then we're going to do that for a couple of rounds to have some good rebuttals. Okay? Awesome. So you guys have 8 minutes. You can talk amongst yourself, figure out a plan, figure out who's going. And then after the 8 minutes, we'll start with the pros and then goes with the cons. Okay? Any questions? Okay. Awesome. 8 minutes start. You guys are free to talk. For anyone in the audience, this can be seen as an intermission in a movie. So if you gotta go do something for at least 5 minutes, you could take your time. Okay, time has just finished. If you can, just move the chairs back to the original spot. All right, fantastic. So how this part's gonna run is that it's going to be 3 to 4 rounds of debate. So we're gonna first hear the 2-minute speech from the pro side, And while they're speaking, you know, it'd be good if you guys just write down like any points. And after they finish speaking, you guys have a minute to just like finalize within yourselves about who's going to speak against them, and then that person's going to go. And while they speak, you guys write down any points, and you also have a minute. We're going to do that for 3 to 4 rounds. Okay? Awesome. So I will set the timer now. First up, we'll have the pro side and our representative.
Okay. So based off of their individual speeches, they're very focused on the personal lives of everyone. And as of course, that personal lives and relationships are important, but that's not everything in our lives currently. And our professional lives are equally, or maybe a little less, but equally as important. It makes up our career, you know, how we're gonna get through life, the money we make, etc., etc. And I think that social media can greatly influence one's career and how it can either take off or, you know, opportunities that have been given. And I can use an example of companies or like, you know, that use social media as a way to market their products or market any positions that they want. There are social media factors of how someone can use their resume and put it online for multiple companies to see at one time, instead of, you know, individually going and emailing one company that I would like to, you know, apply for this position. So I think that professionally, social media can greatly increase communication in that way or form. And yeah, thank you.
Alright, so now you guys have a minute to discuss within yourselves what you want to rebuttal against, and then after that time's up, us folks can come up for the 2-minute speech. Okay, time's up. So can the Consent representative please come forward? Yeah.
So you said that we're basically marketing ourselves online, ourselves as a person and our skills and other products as well. But what you don't realize is when we talk on social media, we tend to hide behind it. We mask ourselves behind social media. So when we actually approach the person, we tend to get too scared to even talk. So I feel like when you communicate on social media, we could be more introverted. We turn more introverted because we don't have that ability to talk casually anymore because we've been hiding behind screens for so long. And that's what you need more importantly when you get to your job. You can put 100 amazing things you've done on your application, but once you get that, like, the call, like, oh, you could come down, we'll interview you, that's where you're stuttering. You won't know how to talk because you've been hiding behind the text messages, the documents, the papers, like, never talked.
No. For sure, I completely agree with that point. But additionally, I think that the communicating on oneself's part is more of a personality thing, like, you know, how introverted is one or how extroverted is one. So I think that, you know, obviously you can use social media to, you know, reach out and, you know, ask for opportunities, and you can give them your resume and everything. But it all depends on how you as a character come and approach someone. But I don't think that social media would be the culprit of why someone's character would be like that. And additionally, I think that more of, again, personal connections and, you know, personalities and stuff like that, there's a bigger picture to it. There's a more like on a business point of view, there are like social media coordinators that are, you know, jobs coming up and everything. And you can, like, you know that a lot of companies would want social media coordinators in their company because they know how well social media can, you know, boost their company up, boost whatever product they have. And that's why you can see, maybe if you scroll through TikTok, all of these products that come up. Like, I'm sure if you're going through like Instagram or anything, you see a piece of clothing that you like, you'll go to the website, this and that, and it'll get more viewers. So I think more of the personal connection side, professionally, it'll really increase that.
Thank you. Very well said.
So now you two have a minute, you three now, have a minute to like respond to what they said formally in the speech. I didn't want to stop you there, but like next time they finish speaking, just make sure that you just like talk with your teammates, and then afterwards you have the 2-minute speech. Yeah. So just like no, you're good. Just not right after. Okay. So you guys have a minute, okay? And while they're talking, you guys can just write down like any points you have, like in the questions. All right. The time has elapsed. Can the pro spokesperson come up and take the mic?
So you guys' main points were about how social media is a mask for a person, as if like you're catfishing someone, if you're like showing a different identity. But basically, I think social media is a kind of like a blessing. So if I'm awkward, a lot of people are nowadays are like very socially awkward. They don't feel like talking a lot. If I had social media to my access to find a job, it'd be very helpful. So like I can show all my qualities to a person without having to physically be there. So it would be much less nervous for me. I would be much less nervous. I could easily express everything that I have to say. And once I actually get an interview offer or a job offer, when I physically go there, I'll have enough confidence knowing that I came this far with social media, and I'll be able to go there and get my job, and everything will go smoothly. And this will all happen because of social media.
Okay, so you guys have now a minute. Okay, time has elapsed. Can the con spokesperson come up?
You talked about careers, you talked about getting a job, and you talked about how you're going to get a job. But when you get to the job and to the interview, what you're doing is you're talking to the interviewer. And with that, to get a promotion in this job, you need to present. You need to answer questions, just like we're doing right now. You need to be able to communicate with someone, not online, but in person as well. And with that, you're being exposed to many other things online. And that's not just talking to friends or talking to family. You're also talking to strangers. And these strangers can be exposing you. They can be exposing you to many dangerous and harmful ideas and things. There are many violent groups out there who are spreading their ideas on social media. And the only reason they're able to do that is because social media is being unchecked. And the reasons for this are already being acknowledged by these social media platforms. But what are we doing? We're promoting this. We are letting these companies continue what they're doing by using social media so often. And with that, I want to end off with saying misinformation, jobs, and applications. All of this relies upon communication in person, not just online.
Very well said. You guys have now a minute. Also, just a general reminder, if you're addressing the opposite side, just make sure you say the pro side or the con side. Okay, so like don't say like you guys, like generally. Because there are like multiple people and they're representing a side. Okay? Alright, time is up. Can the pro side's spokesperson, come up with their points? Are you guys ready? Okay. Are you sure you don't want to speak? You're positive? You're like 100% sure. 110% sure. Okay.
Okay.
You can bring your paper up.
No, it's alright. Okay. The con side brings up points of, how social media can be a way out for people, the violent groups, people that don't have the best intentions in mind, to come up and to influence our lives. But I feel like, as I talked about in my group, we've discussed that there are new technologies that are being made to prevent scams, to prevent such things to arise in one's life. And additionally, I believe that it all depends on who you surround yourself with, whether it be online or in real life. Everything depends on who you surround yourself with. If you're in, a community that's very violent and that's, they don't partake in the best stuff, obviously one will be influenced and, do the same. And so that can go either in real life or online. So I think that it doesn't really matter if specifically it's online, because it's just as much easier for that to happen.